The night was darker than any night Captain Ronan Drake had ever seen. On the strange planet called Valora, 2 pale moons hung low in the sky, casting a cold, ghostly light across the forest. The air sparkled with floating, glowing dust, like tiny fireflies drifting without rest. Strange sounds filled the darkness, soft, sad songs of animals that no human had ever heard. Every shadow seemed alive. Every step felt dangerous. Ronan was alone. He crouched behind tall, glowing crystals that rose from the ground like frozen flames. His heart beat fast in his chest. His breathing was shallow, and every breath burned his lungs. Blood dripped from the cut on his side where an enemy's blade had caught him. His uniform was torn, dirty, and wet with sweat. He was exhausted, hungry, and scared, but he would not give up. He had come here with a team of explorers from Earth. Their mission was simple: search for life on Valora. Strange signals from this faraway world had reached Earth, and the Unified Space Command had sent them to investigate. But everything went wrong when they found the stone monoliths with carvings that glowed faintly in the moonlight. Ronan and his team had walked right into a sacred place. They were not welcome. The people of Valora, fast and strong, had attacked them without warning. Ronan had watched his friends die. Only he survived, running, bleeding, hiding in this strange forest. He held his plasma rifle tightly, scanning the dark. The forest hummed with strange music, leaves rustling as small creatures darted between the trees. Every sound made him tense. His sharp blue eyes looked for any movement. He knew he couldn't stay hidden forever. He needed food. He needed help. But above all, he needed to survive. What he didn't know was that he was being watched. From the darkness, Princess Nyxora studied him carefully. She stood tall and quiet, her eyes glowing softly like the moons above. Behind her, like liquid light, and her lavender skin shone with a faint, mysterious glow. She was not just any Valoran. She was the crown princess, a skilled warrior and protector of her people. She had been tracking Ronan since he escaped the ambush. She should have killed him already. But something made her stop. As human, this intruder was different. She saw how he moved, was wounded, yet he stayed alert. He was afraid, but he kept going. His eyes, even filled with pain, showed determination. And deep inside, she felt something she had never felt before: curiosity. Nyxora stepped forward without a sound, pulling a small blade from her belt. Her people did not waste words on enemies. They finished threats quickly. That was the way of Valora. She moved like a shadow, fast and silent. Ronan heard a rustle and turned too late. Pain exploded in his side as her blade found him. He stumbled backward, gritting his teeth, lifting his plasma rifle. His eyes locked onto hers, and he froze. She was the most beautiful creature he had ever seen, but her eyes were cold and full of anger. She didn't speak. She lunged again. He fired. Bright plasma blasts lighting up the dark forest, but she dodged every shot. The two of them fought fiercely under the twin moons, their movements casting dancing shadows on the glowing plants. His rifle hummed with heat. Her blade flashed in silver arcs. Their fight was wild and desperate, and strangely mesmerizing. Ronan's years of military training kept him alive. He blocked her attacks with the rifles, but ducked under her swings and fired when he could. But she was faster, stronger. Her every move was like a dance, fluid and perfect. His heart pounded harder, his vision blurred from blood loss, yet he kept going. Then his foot caught on a thick root, crashed to the ground, pain shooting up his back. He gasped for air, the world spinning around him. Nyxora stood over him, blade raised for the final strike. The moon's pale light made her look almost like a goddess of death, but she didn't finish him. Her eyes changed, softening just a little as she looked into his. Something inside her shifted. His face showed not just fear, but something else, a deep, raw will to live. She hesitated. Slowly she knelt beside him. Ronan's chest rose and fell quickly as he stared at her, sweat dripping into his eyes. She placed her glowing hand on his bleeding wound. A warm, tingling feeling spread through him. The pain faded. His breathing calmed. But then he noticed a drop of his blood floating from the cut, disappearing under her fingers. "What did you do?" he asked weakly, his voice cracking with fear. Her lips curled into a small, mysterious smile. "You'll see soon enough, human," she whispered. Then she stood up and melted back into the forest, her silver hair disappearing among the glowing leaves. Ronan lay there, dazed and confused. He touched his side where the wound had been. The skin was whole again, but it felt strange. He struggled to stand, every movement making him feel more different than before. The forest no longer seemed as dark. Every sound was clearer, sharper. His eyes picked up small details he never noticed before, tiny insects crawling under leaves, the gentle swirl of glowing dust on the breeze. His senses were alive like never before. He stumbled to a small shelter made of twisted branches and leaves. He crawled inside and tried to rest, but his mind raced. What had she done? Was he poisoned? Marked? Cursed? Sleep came slowly filled with dreams of silver eyes and cold moons. When he awoke, the feeling was stronger. He caught his reflection in a pool of still water and gasped. His eyes, once deep blue, now shimmered with tiny flecks of gold. Thin, glowing lines traced along his temples. He splashed water on his face, trying to wash away the vision. But it wasn't a vision. It was real. Fear and anger twisted in his chest. He remembered her words. "You'll see soon enough." He needed answers. He needed to find her, even if it killed him. With a deep breath, Captain Ronan Drake picked up his rifle, stepped out of the shelter, and began to track the only person who could explain what he was becoming. The princess who had changed his life with a touch of blood under the twin moons of Valora. Ronan moved quickly through the dark forest. Every sound and every movement felt sharp in his mind. His senses were stronger than ever. He could hear soft whispers of animals far away. He could see clear details even in the deepest shadows. He also felt fear growing inside him. He was changing, and he didn't know what he was becoming. He needed answers. He needed to find Princess Nyxura. The forest seemed alive around him. Glowing plants bent as if they were watching. Soft lights moved in the mist. Strange animal calls echoed through the air. Yet Ronan pushed forward, following faint footprints and broken branches that showed Nyxura's path. His heart pounded in his chest. He didn't know if she would kill him or help him. But he had no other choice. After hours of running, he finally saw her in a clearing, surrounded by giant trees. The trees reached so high that their branches blocked the moons, turning the space into a quiet, hidden world. She stood tall in the center, her silver hair shining faintly. Her lavender eyes looked calm but serious. Ronan stepped into the clearing, his rifle lowered. He had no strength left for a fight. "You drank my blood," he said, his voice rough, but steady. "What did you do to me?" She turned slowly, her eyes locking with his. There was no anger in her gaze now, only worry and something like sadness. "Our bond is stronger than I thought," she said softly. "Sharing blood on my planet is sacred. It creates a link between two souls. We are connected now, human." Ronan's hand shook as he tried to understand. "Connected? What does that mean? Am I turning into one of you?" Nyxura shook her head. "No. Your body cannot fully become Valoran, but my essence is inside you. It makes you stronger. Your senses are sharper. Your body heals faster. But there is danger. Others will sense the bond. They will want to find you. They will want to kill you." Ronan felt anger rising in his chest. "Why did you do this to me? I didn't ask for it. I didn't plan it," she said, her voice tense. "I was going to kill you, but I hesitated. I took your blood without thinking of the consequences. Now we are both in danger." Before Ronan could answer, a low growl came from the shadows. His new senses picked up shapes moving between the trees. Yellow eyes glowed in the dark. The hunters had found them again. Nyxura's hand reached for her blade. Ronan raised his rifle. They stood back to back as the creatures stepped into the clearing. Sleek and deadly, they moved with purpose. "Stay close," she whispered. "These hunters are trained killers." The first hunter leaped forward, claws shining in the moonlight. Nyxora ducked, her blade cutting through the creature's chest. It fell with a screech, but more followed, circling them like wolves. Ronan fired bursts of plasma, each shot lighting the trees with bright flashes. The creatures snarled, their teeth sharp and dripping with saliva. They moved so fast it was hard to track them all. A hunter lunged at Ronan's throat. He dodged. Just in time, feeling the rush of air as claws swiped past his face, Nyxora danced around him, her blade a blur of silver. Together they moved as one, never separating. Their connection helped them understand each other without words. When he fired, she shifted to cover him. When she attacked, he protected her. Back. But the hunters kept coming. Sweat dripped from Ronan's forehead as his arms grew tired. His breathing was heavy. He looked at Nyxora and saw her lavender glow grow brighter. She was using all her strength, too. They couldn't keep fighting forever. Suddenly, Nyxora reached into a pouch and pulled out a small orb. It pulsed with a strange blue light. She threw it at the ground in the center of the clearing. A loud crack filled the air as the orb exploded. With blinding light, a shock wave rolled over the ground. Hunters screamed, stumbling back, their sensitive ears overwhelmed. "Run!" she shouted. They ran together, weaving through the trees, jumping over roots, never slowing down. The forest blurred around them. Behind them, the hunters roared in rage, but the sound grew fainter as they fled. Their steps took them deeper into Velora's wilderness, far from the place where it all began. They found a cave hidden behind thick vines. Inside, the air was cold and damp. Strange symbols were carved into the stone walls, glowing faintly with white light. "This is an old tunnel," Nyxora explained as they walked deeper. "It leads to a sanctuary, a place even my people fear." Ronan asked, his voice echoing softly. "The sanctuary holds old secrets," she said. "It tests those who enter. It protects truths that many wish to keep buried." They reached a massive cavern. In the center stood a giant crystal, shining with every color of the rainbow. Round it floated dozens of ghostly figures, silent, glowing, and watching. The air felt heavy, pressing on Ronan's chest. His heartbeat echoed in his ears. "Who are they?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. "They are the Guardians," Nyxora answered. "They protect the crystal. The crystal holds the truth of our bond." The Guardians turned their empty eyes to Ronan and Nyxora. The cavern shook. A voice, cold and powerful, echoed in their minds. "You are bound by blood. Prove your unity or be destroyed." Aim's hand reached for Nyxora's. She took it, her eyes wide but full of courage. A bright light shot from the crystal, wrapping around them like a cocoon. Their minds opened. Ronan saw flashes of Nyxora's memories, her childhood, her training, her fears. She saw his memories, battles on Earth, moments of hope and pain. They felt each other's hearts beating as one. The light faded. The Guardians drifted back. The voice spoke again. "You are united. The bond is true. Use it wisely." Ronan and Nyxora stood in the quiet cavern, still holding hands. They knew nothing would ever be the same. Their fates were tied together. Whatever dangers lay ahead, they would face them as one. And as they looked at each other, there was no more fear, only determination. Together. Under the moons of Velora, they stepped forward into the unknown, ready to turn their bond into strength and maybe, just maybe, save two worlds.